Happy New Year. I'm here with a special Ask Amy New Year edition um, that I really wasn't planning on doing, but I felt really called to do this special edition of Ask Amy because of this question I have from Iris, and it is not just Iris's question. There are so many questions I get all the time, so much like this, and it kills me. It breaks my heart that people are out there thinking that change is not possible for them, that they're stuck, that this year is going to be just like last year. And it breaks my heart because it was me. I remember this time of year, especially, all the resolutions, all the promises, so much like what Iris is saying. So I'm just going to read you Iris's question really briefly. And it's kind of just a summary of her question. But again, this is a question I get all the time, all the time. Iris says, I need to change. I can't go through another year making resolutions and promises that I don't keep, disappointing myself over and over again. It's not for lack of effort. It's not, I know, Iris. But I constantly promise and disappoint myself over and over. What will actually help? And oh my God, Iris, me too. And so many people. I mean, last week, and I didn't even work last week, and I talked to two people last week who basically said this, who said flat out, and they're familiar with this understanding a little bit. They're talking to me, right? There's some hope in there, but they flat out said, I don't think it's possible that I'm ever going to change. Like, not even that I'm not going to change, but I don't think it's possible, they said. And you have to know, Iris, and those people, you know who you are, and all of you listening, you have to know it is not only possible, it is already happening. Hi, everyone. So nice to see people showing up. It is already happening, always. So change is ironic in a sense that the more we force and push and think we're broken and we need it and it has to happen and why not yet and all of that, which we all do so understandably, we all do when we get frustrated and disappointed, the more we're kind of pushing it away, the more we're in this place where it looks like this is me and my problem and they're solid and stable and I need to do something to make this change happen. Now, again, I lived there my whole life until about 10 years ago. Most people do because that's just what we're told and it's how it looks, right? We need to make this change happen. We need to set the resolution and stick to it and all of that. And there's nothing inherently wrong with resolutions or going for things or anything like that. But I just want you to see that change happens in a very ironic way. And what I mean by that is it's like the less we're pushing and the more we're seeing, how much change is happening all the time, the more we're seeing how fluid we are. So when we have problems, we have habits or anxiety or depression or relationship issues that we keep replaying over and over again. That is our conditioning. That's our psychology. And yes, it's very habitual and it can feel very sticky and we can feel very caught up in it. But it's only our conditioning. It's only our psychology. When we start to see that and we're not so worried about how that stuff shows up, we see that it's fluid and it's actually already always changing all the time. And that there's an us in there, there's an essence, there's something that's bigger than just our issues and problems and the change we need to make finally and all of that. I can't even tell you. I mean, I do tell you all the time, but I can't even put words to how much does change for people. So for all of these questions, I'm saying for every Iris, there is an amazing success story. And when I say success, I don't mean like, ooh, this person got what they wanted. They never feel anxious again, or they completely stopped their habit. Like, I mean it so much bigger than that, so much bigger than that. People seeing, wow, I can just relax. I can just be human and that's okay. I can feel stuff and it doesn't mean anything about me. My life doesn't have to be perfect or look some particular way. For every Iris question, and there are a lot of them, there are probably 3 or 4 success stories all the time. You can see them on my podcast, hear them on my podcast. There was a woman, Patricia, who was in my little School of Big Change, has her own podcast. I shared it yesterday here, has her own podcast and had a whole episode that they didn't even plan to have, but ended up talking about all the changes happened for her. I mean, she's no different than any any of us. Absolutely no different. It isn't anything special that we have to have that you don't already have. It's just knowing how change happens and looking in the right direction, looking at a bigger view than what we're used to looking at. Not like make this happen, but who am I and how does life work and how is my experience working? And I tell you, like, you start to look in that direction and things shift. Whatever needs to open up and shift does. And please, if you hear anything from this, please know that no one is stuck. There is there like hope doesn't even make sense as a word, to be honest. Like when I say hope, I'm like, well, it's not even hope. It's just what already is, but we aren't seeing it. So when we want to say, oh, there's hope for me. There's hope for me to be happy. There's hope for me to be free. No, you're happy. You're free. It's happening right now. But we get so caught up in our thinking and our experience and thinking that's us that we miss it. So it's bigger than hope. It's so much better than hope. But I know with absolutely every fiber of my being that you already have everything you need and that you can realize it and experience it and change it this year and any year. So I hope that 2020 is a big deal. It felt like such a big deal for me last night. Like 2020, this is nuts. 2020 can be a year of big change. It can be a year of whatever you want. It really truly can. And it's not your fault that it hasn't happened so far. It's just that we're caught up looking in the wrong direction. So I hope this is helpful to you. I hope it gives you hope, much bigger than hope, to start the new year with. And you may have seen we've had a promotion going on the Little School of Big Change all month, really, all December. And it did end last night, but I'm going to extend it through Friday this week. What are we on? Wednesday? No one knows what day of the week it is anyway. I'm going to extend it through Friday this week. It's a huge discount that we only do once a year on the school. And it is just an opportunity to be in a beautiful course with an amazing community of people looking toward change. And please, if you're skeptical, listen to some of the episodes on my podcast where I talk about people and the change that they've happened. I'll share Patricia's episode here that I shared yesterday. So much is possible. And we've all felt like you feel, Iris, but it just doesn't have to be that way. So the Little School of Big Change, you can find that on my website, dramyjohnson.com or thelittleschoolofbigchange.com. And I'd love to see you there. And please, I hope you're feeling hopeful and like knowing that anything is possible in this year. And Happy New Year.